What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten channel. We continue here with our 2024 schedule breakdowns. Illinois is up next. Before we get to that 2024 schedule, let's look back at 2023. Here was the schedule from last season, and Illinois, again, going 5-7. Disappointing season, of course, but you look at the schedule, and you look at the non-conference. They played Toledo, Kansas, and FAU. Kansas wound up being a tough opponent. Obviously, they were very good last season. And then you look at who they played out of the East. They played Maryland, played them on the road. They played Indiana, and then they played Penn State. So really only played one really challenging game out of the East. So it wasn't a horrible schedule. And that's, again, why that 5-7 record was a bit of a surprise. You look at the schedule for 2024, and we'll start with this non-conference. They'll play Eastern Illinois, Kansas, and Central Michigan. Again, basically the same non-conference schedules they had last season. They do get Kansas at home this year, so maybe they'll find a way to win that game. And then we'll look at the home schedule here. It's Eastern Illinois, Kansas, Central Michigan. Like I said, then Purdue, Michigan, Minnesota, and Michigan State. That's not bad. I mean, that's really not bad. Michigan will be tough, but they'll have a chance against Purdue, Minnesota, and Michigan State. Those are all games that Illinois could potentially win. Not saying they will, but potentially they could win those games. Definitely wouldn't be a shocker if they went 3-0 in those games. Then you look at the road schedule. They'll play 5 games in the Big Ten, all on the road. Nebraska, Penn State, Oregon, Rutgers, and Northwestern. I think it's going to be tough for Illinois to find a win in any of these games. You know, maybe against Nebraska, Rutgers, and Northwestern. But Penn State, Oregon, yeah, I don't really see them having much of a chance there. So it's a pretty tough road schedule. If they're going to have a good season, they're going to have to take care of business at home. So here's the full schedule. They start on August 29th against Eastern Illinois, Thursday night game. Then they'll play Kansas the next week on September 7th. Then they play Central Michigan on September 14th. And then look at this, back-to-back road games at Nebraska and at Penn State, September 21st and 28th. Now that's going to be tough right there. Then they get a bye week. So after the back-to-back road games, they get a bye week. Chance to recover there before playing Purdue at home. That's going to be a huge game. That's going to be a big swing game. If they can beat Eastern Illinois and beat Central Michigan, and let's say even beat Kansas, and they're at 3-2. You win this Purdue game, you're at 4-2, or even 3-3 if you lose to Kansas. It's going to give you a chance, at least down the stretch, to maybe get to a bowl game. They'll play Michigan the next week on October 19th, and it's on the road at Oregon on the 26th. Obviously going to be a tough one, like I said. Minnesota the next week at home on November 2nd. Then they get another bye week. So again, you get a bye week before this final stretch, and it could come down to Michigan State, Rutgers, and Northwestern, 2 of those games on the road. It could come down to those games and them needing to win a couple of them to get to a bowl game potentially, depending on how things go. But they get Michigan State on the 16th. Then it's on the road at Rutgers on the 23rd, on the road at Northwestern on the 30th. And again, back-to-back road games. Interesting that they have back-to-back road games twice. Nebraska and Penn State, Rutgers and Northwestern. That's 4 of their 5 road games right there, and then Oregon kind of in the middle. But again, it's a tough schedule for a team like Illinois. They don't play Ohio State, but they do have to play Penn State, Michigan, and Oregon. So 3 of the top teams in the Big Ten. Again, with this schedule, I think you just want to try to get to a bowl game. That's probably the goal for Illinois with this schedule in 2024.